If you're a parent or ever were, you know all about those away tournaments in those crummy little hotels with those big food bills. Thankfully, we have food media specialist Charmaine Broughton joining us, who is going to give us some tips. Charmaine, welcome, by the way.
Thank you very much for having me.
Who is going to give us some tips on how to not only save a whole bunch, but also provide something much tastier and much more nutritious.
Absolutely. And to fuel our little athletes. Because I think one thing that parents forget, and believe me, even I get caught up in the moment, you've got kids going here and there and so on, and we're busy. But I have 2 teenage boys that are very active. And I think sometimes what we forget is that they're little athletes as well, right? So as, when you or I go out on a run or we meet with our trainer, afterwards we're refueling with a protein shake with, seeds and healthy fats and so on. Yet often kids are, they're going through the drive-through or they're going to the vending machine out of convenience, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just here to share some really awesome recipes and kind of my go-tos. And I have to be honest, I come by this segment very honestly because when my kids were young, they swam competitively. And I remember at the time, my husband and I, we didn't have a lot of extra money. And I remember we were going up to Sudbury or somewhere, and we kind of looked at each other. We're like, how are we going to afford this, right? With the hotels and the travel and the gas and so on. And I thought, you know what? We're going to be packing a cooler. And ever since that day, this is what we've done. These are my go-tos. So they're not only, again, saving you money, but they're fueling our kids after their activities as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's better than a bag of chips.
Well, it is. And I mean, I'm certainly not that mom that says you can never have you can never have the drive-through, you can never have the chips, because believe me, as you ladies know, I'm all about having my cake and eating it too. Yeah,
but the thing is, if you're somewhere, sometimes all there is a vending machine. There's nothing decent.
Absolutely. And I mean, the vending machine can add up. Let's just start with the sports drink, for instance. Just this past weekend, so both my boys now play competitive basketball, so we were away, and my son wanted a sports drink, and it was $4.50 at the vending machine, right? Or you can make my homemade sports drink, and I'll have all the recipes on the blog post, made with herbal tea, a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of salt, some orange juice, and a squeeze of lemon. And it's refreshing, and believe me, the kids will love it. And just to compare the sugar content and calories and so on, so my sports drink comes in at 50 calories for the same amount as one of these, 150 milligrams of sodium, 12 grams of carbohydrates, and 10 grams of sugar. The commercial sports drink is loaded with artificial color, and it has 180 calories, 300 milligrams of sodium, 45 grams of carbohydrates, and 42 grams of sugar. I mean, you have to be running the Sahara Desert for 3 weeks in order to really utilize all of that, right?
And you've got everything in yours that you need to restore the electrolytes and everything.
Absolutely.
It's right there.
And it's actually, I would say that mine is hydrating us more because there's not as much sugar and so on, right?
Exactly.
And I made this actually for my son's basketball team, and they all drank it up. They absolutely loved it. And so easy. And using pantry staple items. I mean, you could probably make 3 weeks worth of this for $4.50, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this wonderful looking sandwich.
Okay, so what I love about this is often with tournaments, you leave on a Friday, you come back on the Sunday, and on the Sunday, you see all this food in your fridge that went to waste. But with this sandwich, it's great. So you can use up all your leftovers that you had kicking around from the week. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the sandwich that you used to make the party spinach dip, hollow it out just as if you were doing that, and load it up with all your leftover deli meat or avocado or whatever you have in your fridge, and then cut it up into sandwiches. And it's a great Friday night supper that's, again, costs pennies per serving.
Excellent. And those chocolate chia energy balls.
Ooh, yes. These are fabulous. Again, using pantry staple items. So I've got some peanuts in here. Peanuts are great, loaded with heart-healthy fats and protein and fiber. Some cocoa, some honey, some coconut. You put all the ingredients into a food processor, pulse it up, roll them into little balls. And this is great in between games. Often there might be maybe 45 minutes in between a game where, if you go to the drive-thru, you're going to spend lots of money, lots of empty calories. But this is actually refueling those little athletes.
So, Charmaine, how long would that keep if you wanted to make a bunch? Because I think that's something that people would eat anytime.
Oh, well, you can make them. You can pop them in your freezer, and then you can take them out, put them in a little container, and then bring them to work.
But would they last a weekend?
Oh, sure they would. I mean, often hotels do have mini fridges, or we always pack up our cooler with some ice packs. But these are again a family favorite, and like I said, all of this stuff is tried and true in my house. This is what we've been eating for 10 years since my kids have been doing competitive sports, and we've been traveling and so on.
Those little cupcakes with peanuts on top. They're so cute.
These are adorable. So this recipe comes from the Peanut Bureau, and these are the peanut butter and jelly cupcakes. So I know there's lots of moms or dads out there listening that like to be the baker of the team, right? And they like to make treats for the kids after the game or the tournament comes to an end. So these are super fun. It's like a vanilla cake, and then in the middle is it's loaded with jam. They're not only fun to eat, but they're fun to make, and they've got some nutritional value because there's peanut butter in the icing, and again, peanuts loaded with heart-healthy fats and protein, and also peanut butter is a staple in your home. So it's not like you're going out of the way to make a dish that uses some exotic ingredient. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how much of your trunk is full when you go to one of these weekends? I'm looking at all the fruit, and I mean, it's amazing.
Well, fruit's great because it comes in its own compostable package, right?
Exactly.
So there's no waste. But no, I truly do. I always pack up a cooler. And in fact, leading up to this segment, I did an experiment. So we were away about a month ago, and I said, I'm not going to make anything, and I just want to see how much we spent. And on food alone, we spent almost $300. Mm-hmm. And that's only for a family of 4. I mean, many of my friends have 3 kids. Some of them have 4. And that's a dent in your pocketbook. Mm-hmm. Not only that, I think I came home about 5 pounds heavier because,
it's garbage.
Yeah. And when I'm not sure about you ladies, but I guess it's because I don't eat fast food often. But when I go through a drive-through, I'm not going to order a kale salad. Believe me, I'm going to have a hamburger, right? So Monday morning, I woke up and it took me about a week to recover from.
So what would you think you would spend by making a lot of these things? On a weekend like that?
Oh, I think you would save. I think you could likely save well over $100, if not more. On the Saturday night, often, as I'm sure you ladies know, with kids and so on, there's normally like a team dinner, and of course you want to go and indulge. There, right? But, all the in-betweens and the vending machine, and again, even just the sports drink alone, you can literally save hundreds of dollars. But you're also, I think, teaching your kids a life lesson that, if you take 15 or 20 minutes before the weekend, you can prepare all these dishes. And often, like the sandwich and the truffles actually require no cooking. So this is something that like my teenage boys can make on their own, and then we can pack it up and enjoy it.
Yeah, it'd be. I was just thinking, my daughter. These lessons do stick because my daughter, when we went on competitive dance competitions, one of them was on my side already, but the other one was horrified that I would take extra pieces of fruit or the little peanut butter containers from the buffet breakfast.
Right.
And now the other one's traveling around Europe going, Mum, you'd be proud of me. I'm taking the food all day just to reduce my travel costs. And they don't seem to mind. I said, no, they put it out there so that you are allowed to leave with a banana and an apple from breakfast. Yeah.
And the other thing, like with the sandwich and the food waste, so for instance, I had some white beans left in the fridge. So for this one, not white beans, I had some chickpeas. So I made a peanut butter hummus for my sauce for this. So you can go to peanutbureau.ca for that recipe. And that's a nice little, you can pack that up with some cut up veggies. And then the leftover I use as a sauce. But on that note, you're also teaching your kids not to waste food, right? Because food waste, Canadians waste almost $30 billion worth of food.
I know.
I mean, no wonder why we have no money, because we're wasting it in food.
But not only that, if you're doing it, Charmaine, then it's cool.
Well,
and for anybody who thinks it's not cool to bring in a cooler, it is.
I think I'm the only person that comes to a radio interview with a cooler. And again, I'm not telling you that
That's
every
why
single
we love you.
meal has to be like this. But if I can just inspire you, even just to make the homemade sports drink. And so that's really my whole goal today, is just to inspire you to eat a little healthy, save some money, and cheer on your kids' sports team.
Great. Thank you very much.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
This is what she said. Stay with us.